So everyone, it's time to get into it, the quick start guide for how to get a good account going once you've started your journey into the Japanese server. So this is basically a very fresh account that I've just made, and I've just gone through some very small battles just to get a little bit of stuff going so I can show you some stuff. So of course, the very first thing you need to do when you start a new account on the Japanese server is you need to go through the tutorial. Well, actually you need to read the terms of service, but you can just press the big bright pink button when it asks you to do that, and the game will just assume that you've read the terms of service, so no worries about that. So after you go through the tutorial, of course, you will be set loose on the main story in chapter 1. So basically all I've done is I've completed chapter 1 and then done some other stuff, so ignore the rest up here. And what you want to do is you want to basically just complete the entirety of chapter 1. I know the game might take you away from chapter 1 just for a second to get like a gacha roll or something, but in general, before you do any sort of other gameplay, you want to do the all of chapter 1, because that also unlocks a bunch of stuff. So once you've done that, you're basically ready to actually set up a team, to set up some sort of like selection of characters to actually beat the rest of the game, and I'm talking about main story here. So what you want to do from that point onwards is you want to actually understand how you can read Japanese, because of course reading Japanese might be very important to play the rest of the game, and I have made a video specifically about that, how you can automatically translate Japanese text on screen using a selection of apps that you can choose one from, and I've made a video for that. I put it in the description below that video so you can check that out. So once you're ready to go in and read Japanese for any place where you might have trouble understanding what anything means, let's actually get started. So there are a handful of things that you kind of need to get to when you go to the Japanese server from the North American server. So one thing that people usually ask for is, there's 3 times speed. How do you get 3 times speed going in battle? Isn't that great? In order to get the triple speed in battle, you need to have beaten that stage before. You don't get it when you go into a stage for the very first time, but if you go into a stage for like the second time or any time after that, that's when you have triple speed unlocked. And if you set it to triple speed, I think it will automatically be set back to triple speed if you go into another stage and then meet the requirements for that other stage as well. So that is how you get triple speed, because a lot of people have been asking about that. And as you might also tell from the Japanese server, if you go into a battle for the very first time, on almost every single node in the game, you will have auto battle enabled immediately. Awesome. Also, one thing that people usually ask when they come to the Japanese server, and I'm going to go over these questions right now before I go over the other stuff like how to build a team, is how do I read old story? So if you do want to translate a bunch of stuff from older content, and you think to yourself, maybe for example, I want to read the Yukika event, or the Crimson Resolve event, or the Green Jasper Diviners event, I want to read that event myself. If you think like that, maybe you know Japanese yourself, or you're using the translation app, there's actually a way to do that. And here in the Mirrors shop, where sadly there's no Tercio, oh wow, you will find this item. I call it a broken record or a memory record, either of the two. I don't know what the official name for it is, but it's some sort of broken record or memory record item that you can use in the archive. So you buy it for mirror coins. You see they're very cheap, but they are limited to 10 a month. Well, monthly reset is actually coming up in like 30 hours or something, maybe something like that, so get to it. And if you go into the archive, you can actually use those items to unlock old stories, and then use whatever sort of thing you have to use them. It even tells me right here, like, hey, there's 48 old stories that you might want to read through. Of course, you don't need to read stories that you already know from the North American server, but let's say, for example, I wanna read Crimson Resolve, and I can say, okay, I'm going to spend a broken record here, and bloop, now I have unlocked it, and I can go right into it. Let me just check if you need to use multiple. So now the entirety of Crimson Resolve, all of Crimson Resolve has been unlocked permanently, and you can read through the story. This is not for playing the event again, this is just for reading the story event, so that you know everything that is going on. But of course, like I said, you need to either know Japanese or be willing to use one of the translation ways of doing that. So that is one way. I was really hoping for this to come to the North American server, but I guess that's not happening now. So this allows you to read every single story in the game. So those are just a handful of questions that I really want to get out there immediately, because those are like the most important questions that people coming from NA usually ask immediately, like how do I do that? How do I do triple speed, auto battle, memory records, whatever. Now moving on though for actually how to get your account started after you've done looked at all of that, is right now it's actually a bit special because right now we have the anniversary event, and I assume you're going to start right now during the anniversary event. So I'm going to give you a handful of pointers what you can do during the anniversary event. The very first thing you might want to do is going to Mitamas Miracle Quiz. This is a quiz where you get to go through 3 difficulties. Each difficulty has 10 questions. The hardest one isn't unlocked just yet, but it will be very soon. And if you go through one of these difficulties and you get 10 questions correct, you get a bunch of Magia Stones and you get a bunch of medals that you can use for the shop. Now, of course, you might need to read Japanese for this, so either translate the questions and answers and see if you can figure it out that way, or we actually, if you're on the Discord, on the JP Game General channel, there is a pin, and one of the pins does indeed have a link towards all the correct answers, and you can just look at the question and then look at the answer and just see if the kanji sort of line up. Like, I've seen this kanji with a squiggly line, and you go to the answers in the pinned Google Sheet, and you're like, oh, this kanji also has that weird squiggly line. I think that's the question. You kind of need to line stuff up, but if you can do that, you only need to do it once, and it does go rather fast. I think on my other server I did it in like 3 minutes, and yes, there is a timer, but it counts upwards, and it's totally fine. You can take as long as you want. It's just so you can tell other people, hey, I did it in 2 minutes, I did it in 1 minute, whatever. But yeah, the reason I want you to do this is because on one hand, of course, you get Magia Stones for this, if you do it one time, and of course you get some medals as well. Next thing that you can do is you can go and of course play the anniversary event story. Even if you have just a level 1 Iroha, you can still beat all of this by just taking a level 100 support with you. Like, a level 100 support can defeat all of this by just farting on every enemy slightly, and everyone just dies. And also, while you're doing this, while you're going through all of these 19 quests in here and beating the event story, the reason why this event story is rather important, because this event story actually gives you a whole bunch of stuff. Like, for example, it gives you like 100 level up gems, plus, like the biggest ones, which is ridiculous, but it does do that. But yeah, while you're going through all these quests, maybe you look out for characters, for supports like this that have 4 Memoria, a level 100 character. That's basically what you're looking for. You're looking for what level 100 characters with at least like 4 Memorias, I say at least, some of them max maybe, and you take them with you into battle, and then you follow them, and then you don't even have to look up whales online somewhere, like there's lists with whales. You don't have to do that. I don't even know where those lists are, to be honest. Maybe on the Reddit, I don't know. You can just manually just look through really strong people. Like this one, right, for example, is extremely powerful, and if I wasn't recording, I would go into this battle just to follow this guy. But yeah, you can grab some really powerful supports while you're on the way. Also on the Discord, there's the JP Support Surge channel, where people are posting their own player accounts, where you can take a look at who you might want to follow or not. Fun fact, with level 100 super powerful support, you can even beat some challenge quests. If the support is strong enough and has SE and everything, you can even beat challenge quests, which is kind of funny that is actually possible. So yeah, so once you've wanted all of that, you've gotten a whole bunch of random rewards, like I said, like maybe some level up gems, maybe some of these medals, and you want to take these medals, and that you also get them for logging in, by the way, during the anniversary, and you want to take them to this shop. And there's a bunch of stuff in here that is extremely important for starting a new account. One is, well, that there's the 3rd anniversary costume tickets, and if you want to, you can buy we can buy basically any ticket, any costume that is in the game for 1 ticket, like 1 ticket each. But more importantly, I didn't care that much about the costumes, because whatever, I don't care about costumes. However, I still bought 3 of them, because if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can get 3 rainbow orbs for a costume ticket. Like for three costume tickets, you get 3 rainbow orbs, and rainbow orbs are really, really important at the start of the game. So I just bought 3 of them immediately. And then for some other medals, I also bought some more rainbow orbs. So I already got like 8 rainbow orbs like as soon as the game started, together with some other rewards. I bought some Memoria items to get sure that I can upgrade my Memoria, and of course I got the 10 roll, and I got rather important this Memoria right here, because this Memoria right here gives like 15% damage up, and just starting the game and having a Memoria that immediately gives you 15% damage up, and I think it also comes like level 50 MLB, like right when you buy it. So it also gives like almost 2,000, I think it gives like actually like 1,700 attack or something. So it already gives a whole bunch of attack and already gives you like a whole bunch of damage bonus, which is really nice to just have that right at the start of the game, which is really awesome. The other one is alright, not that important. And then with other medals you can maybe buy some money, so you can get your money fountain started as well. And this would be rather important to get a good foot into the game. So that is that bit. Of course, once you play some more stages, like let's say for example you play through chapter 1, chapter 2, play some other stages, you get some Magia Stones. Once you have 200 Magia Stones, you of course want to buy this right here in the shop, and both of these of course, because you want to do this every single month, you always want to get those. And that is basically how you can get started right away, by to get some resources coming in. So now that we've done all of that, the next thing we might want to do is we might want to actually take a look at what our characters for the start of the game are going to be. Well, everything that I've told you right now you can do with level 1 Iroha, but let's just get some better stuff. So if you are playing during the anniversary, you are going to get a free 10 roll every day on the rare gacha right here. You can see I've played this for 2 days. I've already gotten 20 rolls in total in here. Now you'll only get a handful more of these, but actually by the time you're watching this, maybe you only get like one more free 10 roll or whatever. It's not actually as important as you might think. Also, of course, every day you get the free support roll. However, on the 1st September until the 7th September, I think it is, there's going to be 2 more gacha. That's rather important. There's going to be 2 more gacha. One gacha is you select a limited character, and that limited character gets rate up. So you get to select your own rate up character, and then every day you're going to get 10 free rolls on that gacha. So you get 70 free 10 rolls on whatever limited character you choose. And so if you just have like 30 more rolls available at that point, towards the end of that, you can just force you can like at least force a pity. Maybe you draw a 4-star character before that. But even so, with just putting 30 more rolls into it, you'll get at least one 4-star. That's really awesome. And at the same time, it's going to be another gacha unveiled that allows you to choose your own rate-up memoria out of a small selection of rate-up memoria, and it'll just be a regular rare gacha like this, like a regular rare gacha that also has magical girls in it, at least as far as I know, and it will have a rate-up for the memoria you picked, and you also get 10 free rolls for that every day for 7 days. So you also get 70 free rolls on that. And if you just put 30 more into that, you're also guaranteed at least one 4-star magical girl. However, it will be any unlimited magical girl in the game. At least that's all the information we know right now. In case it's a little bit different, just check the information of the news once it breaks, like once it's here. So that's at least how you can get some free rolls going. But more importantly, it might tell you this during the tutorial or right afterwards, that you get to choose your own 4-star. This is not that, but it looks very similar. So you get thrown into this screen where you have to select your own 4-star that you start the game with. And I think the selection is basically the same selection that you see on screen right now. And of course, you're going to do some other rolls as well, like the free rolls. And if you actually pick your own 4-star, you actually get a free 10 roll on top of that. And you might get a handful of characters from that. So which character do you choose from this? And more importantly, what do you do from there? And I'm going to give you some very important tips about that. And probably the most important tip that I can tell you about this is that you need to just figure out right away, from just the handful of characters that you get from all of these roles that I just mentioned, what sort of strategy are you going to go for. And from there, you're going to focus on maybe 2, maybe maximum 3, not more than that, 2 or 3 characters you're going to focus on for like the next week, 2 weeks or whatever. Maybe even months, probably not that long, like 2 weeks should be fine at most. And what I had is I was live streaming my playthrough of this, and I asked chat what they want, and chat decided I should pick Karin, which is a great choice because she's the best girl. I'm gonna favorite her as well, awesome. So the thing about Karin is that she's a Magia support character. So I said to myself, wait a second, she's a Magia support character, so wouldn't it be great if I was able to get a Magia team going? She's actually the best Magia support character in the game, by the way. So it would be really nice to have a Magia team. So I looked at the rest of the characters that I drew, looked at all of them, and then said, wait a second, Kako, I know Kako is really, really good in Magia stall teams, because if she can spam Magia, she gets a lot of regeneration. You can get to like 30% HP regen each turn for like multiple turns, which is really nice. She doesn't do much damage, but she has Excel Draw as well. Like, yeah, Kako is a really good choice for a Magia stall team. And so I decided I'm going to focus only on Karin and only on Kako. So over the next 2 weeks, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be 5-starring Karin, I'm going to be 5-starring Kako, I'm going to pull some Destiny bottles, which by the way, Destiny bottles are now available all the time to use. and I'm going to get all her slots. I'm going to get a 4-slot Kako, level 100. I'm going to go through her Spirit Enhancement. I'm going to give her maximum Spirit Enhancement. I'm going to talk about Spirit Enhancement later. I'm going to give her maximum Spirit Enhancement. Same with Karen. I'm going to get to level 100, give her as much Spirit Enhancement as I can. And then I basically, when I go into a quest, I know that I can just pick someone who also fits into the team. For example, I know that Madoka is also really awesome in this team. So I'm going to have a Madoka with Karen. And that's already strong enough to beat almost every single EX quest in the entire game. It literally just works, which is kind of absurd, but that's as little as it takes to get a team that can beat almost every single piece of content in the game. And yeah, Karen might be 1 slot, but she's just there to buff everyone. And if you're just buffing everyone, it doesn't matter. But anyway, the reason why I talk so much about this right now is because you can basically do what I just did with a whole lot of other stuff as well. So for example, you can say, I'm going to do Mitamas, do the same strategy, or Madoka, of course, you can do the same strategy. Or for example, you pick a Mummy, and then you say, with Mummy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a Kanoko, or someone else who has on connect, a stun, or a charm, or a bind, or something like that. And I'm going to do the stun cheese, basically. So you can choose Mummy and then do that. You can choose Reina also for a Magia team, or same with Mifuyu. You can also say, I'm going to use Ren, because Ren is a really good support, especially if with full SE, and have Ren basically as an offensive support on the team. You can pick Kyoko for blast setup and then say, oh, who's a good blast support? Tsuruno is a good blast support, Yacho is, not Yacho, Nanaka is a good blast support, so you pick either Tsuruno or Nanaka, for example, and you have a really good blast team right there. And Mayu is also really good for a Magia stall team, so you can kind of see that you can just pick any of these characters and then try to formulate a strategy around them. Sayaka is a really good tank, so you can just go with full DPS characters, like a Nanaka, for example, and then maybe get some guard going from Sayaka, because Sayaka actually gets guard passively through SE, which is really awesome. So yeah, you can just basically pick whatever, but more importantly, figure out a strategy. That's like the most important thing. Pick whatever, but figure out a strategy that takes like 1 or 2 other girls that are free to play, and then focus as hard as you can on just these 2 or 3 characters to get that strategy to build out, to get them to 5-star, get everyone to level 100, get everyone to full SE, get everyone 4-slot apart from, of course, your natural 4-stars, and you're set. That's all you need to do. That's literally all you need to do. You don't need to, like, it doesn't take a 4-star natural, a 4-slot natural 4-star to have an amazing team. You can have absolute amazing high-end team just with mostly free-to-play characters, and that's basically the biggest sort of advice that I would give to you. Just figure out a strategy. Of course, if you need help with figuring out a strategy with the amount of girls that you have, you can always come to our Discord. It's really hard to make like a video or a guide specifically on that, because it really heavily depends on what you have. So you can just come to our Discord in JP Game General or JP Help and ask, like just post an image of the girls that you have and just ask, yeah, what sort of strategy should I do? Also, something that I should do that I should say is, if you roll like maybe once or twice, you get some of the free rolls in, and you still haven't gotten any good free-to-play character whatsoever, I would do a bunch more 10 rolls with the like the free tickets that you get. Like for example, I didn't actually have Calculator right at the start, and I thought, man, I don't have that. My strategy isn't good enough yet. So I actually did like a handful of rolls. Like you see those 22 rolls. I did a handful of rolls on the Mokyu banner, not to get Mokyu. I mean, it would have been nice if I got Mokyu, that would have been great, but not specifically to get Mokyu, but more importantly, just to get a handful of really good characters out there, maybe snag some 4-star Memoria or some 3-star Memoria that have really good attack as well, and that's also how you're going to work around with your Memoria. So if you look at my Memoria, what I did is, I actually got the 4-star Memoria that gave attack, and put that in there. I have the 2-star Memoria that gives attack, and I also have that in there. So basically between that and the other one, which is this one, I'm actually going to use this one. This one's also really good. That's the one I told you in the shop. But I also got this one, which gives blast up and a chance to negate evade, which is really good. I got that from Mokyu Gacha. There's also this one, the episode up gacha, which you get from logging in during anniversary, and it also gives you like 2,200 attack plus another 10% attack on top of that, and it gives episode level up level 2, which is also really nice. So, but even without 4-star Memoria, like I said, you can look through your 2-star Memoria and just find anything that gives attack up, and you're going to be fine. Like for example, this one gives attack up. Awesome. Just take anything that gives attack up, and you're going to be set at least for the start. And then of course, as you build your team up, you're going to look for higher rarity cards that give attack up, like that one. It's a high rarity card, also gives attack up, really good. And then maybe some 4-star Memoria that give attack up, really awesome. Like I said, if you start playing right now, you already have access to this, which is really good for damage, and this one, which is really good for damage. So you basically set rather quickly with all the stuff that you use. That's really nice. So this is how you set up a basic team right at the start. Now, once you've actually decided you want to not reroll, I'm not going to give a guide on rerolling, but I think, by the way, just a little tip, if you want to reroll, what you could do is uninstall the app without deleting local files. I'm not 100% certain how to do that, but once again, if you come into a Discord and ask JP help how to reroll correctly, I think someone will be able to help you there. But I think if you delete the app without deleting local files, which might require you to go into your file system, you can do that. And then you can just start the game up again with a fresh account, and you don't have to download everything. But yeah, let's say you want to take that account. Personally, I would say, I don't think rerolling is that important, mostly because the most amount of power that you're going to get in your early mid game is all going to come from free-to-play characters anyway. Because what use is it? For example, if I got a 4-slot, if I got a 1-slot Mokyu right now, that wouldn't actually do that much, because Mokyu with 1 slot, it's basically useless. You need to get Mokyu to like full SE. You need to get a 4-slot to get the better EX skills. You need to actually get some good Memoria in there. You need to do all of this stuff for Mokyu to become really powerful. So re-rolling just to get a 1-slot Mokyu, I don't think it's quite worth it. However, you can say, oh, but I'm going to re-roll until I get a 2-slot Mokyu. But if you do that, it's going to take really long time to do that. And personally, I don't want to spend all that time. But you could do that if you wanted to. You could spend that time to do that. But yeah, once you want to take your account and basically start playing the rest of the game, you might have seen a message pop up, and I think I have a screenshot of it if I can show it. And you might have seen this message pop up right after the tutorial maybe. And this message basically just says, hey, you should probably bind your account. So why does that pop up? And if you press the pink button, it actually gets you into the menu. And what they want you to do is you want to go down to this menu. I'm not going to click it right now because I think it might actually show my password. And you want to go to that fourth menu from the top, and this will allow you to bind your account. You need to press the big green button, not green, big pink button, that I think will tell you to input your password, and then input your password again to make sure you've got the right password. And then you write down your password, you write down the transfer ID that it shows on top of that page, and that's how, of course, how you bind your account, just in case that if anything goes wrong, you don't lose your account. You've probably done this on an EN server as well, but it's very important to do that at the start, and of course the game tells you to do that. Please bind your account. And if you don't bind your account, I think every single time you log into the game, it will tell you again to bind your account. It will really pester you about it because it's really important. Once you reach, by the way, once you reach level 10, like rank 10, it will show you another message. If I can pull it up. If you go back in here, it shows you another message when you reach rank 10. This message just says, hey, thank you for playing. It would be great if you went and gave us a review on the store. So if you press the pink button down there, it gets you to like the store page for the game and tells you to write a review. You don't have to do that. But yeah, at least just so you know what it does. So next up, once you've done all of that, you might have realized that there's something weird going on in the missions, because while you've checked some of these missions out for the daily or weekly, for example, not weekly, you might have noticed this thing down here. What is that? That's stamp cards. So stamp cards are basically missions that you go through one after another, not one after another, like one stamp card after another, and you get a bunch of stuff for just doing these missions. I think in order to do anything on the second stamp card, you need to have finished the first stamp card. So basically, these are just random missions that you need to do. And for example, if you, as it says right here in the middle, if you beat the first quest in main story chapter 3, you get a Tsuruno. You just get a Tsuruno. They just do that. If you beat the very first quest in chapter 2, you just get 3 AP pots. If you're not quite sure what any of these mean, of course, once again, use a translate function. I've made a video about translating, and this is where it comes in handy. I think this one down here is upgrade a Memoria. I haven't done that yet. On the top right, I think this is Awaken a Magical Girl. I think that one is that. Gives you a rainbow orb. Once you've done all of that on the stamp card, you get what it says on the very bottom left. In this case, a 10 roll. Yeah, for doing all of that, you get a 10 roll. So you need to play at least to main story chapter 3 and do a bunch of other stuff. and you get a 10 roll right on top of that. Awesome. And then if you go to the other stamp card, I don't know why it takes you back to home screen every time you go back out of that. And once you finish the first card, you can then do stuff on the second card. And for this, you'll need to go to Main Story Chapter 4, Main Story Chapter 5. And you see you get a free Felicia, you get a free Sana on top of that. So already you've got a whole bunch of free characters. And if you've completed all the rest of this, you get a free Moemura. You get a free Moemura for doing all of that. However, the longest quest on all of these is logging in for 7 days. So you need to log in at least for 7 days, which gives you three free pulls, by the way, and do all the rest. Then you get your free Moemura, which is really good. Moemura, of course, does have Uncab and Spirit Enhancement ready on the Japanese server, so you can make her really strong, but you will have to wait at least 7 days for that. So it's a really good 4-star character. I mean, not really good, but Uncab at least. It's a free 4-star character, but it will take at least 7 days. But at least it's something. So now that we've gone through all of that, we've done so much stuff now. Let's do some quests. Let's do some actual quests. So what you can actually do is you can actually just go right into the main story arc 2. Literally, you can just go into a main story arc 2 and it will just be fine. Because the difficulty for this is really low. The difficulty for arc 2 is actually really, really low at the start because they want to be able for new players to go into arc 2 right away. You know what that also means, by the way? If you are willing to set up the translation, as I've told in the other video, you can actually just go through main story arc 2 right away and translate the text for yourself, and you can immediately start arc 2. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? You can immediately start arc 2 right now, and you'll be fine. These quests aren't that difficult. They do get more difficult more quickly than they do in arc 1 to sort of catch up with the difficulty that arc 1 had. However, you have level 100 supports that have SE and can destroy everything with 300,000 damage crits on turn 1. I think you're gonna be fine with just those supports. But what you actually want to do is you want to go through some magical ghost stories. Go through the magical ghost stories for your characters. Some characters in here might have locked magical ghost story right at the start, and if you click right here, usually it says something about this part at the beginning means main story, and then some numbers. So this is here is arc 1, chapter 1, and then node 5, arc 1, chapter 5, and then episode 5, I think, something like that. So 155. So if you've cleared that, that's how you unlock this. But in general, if anything is locked, just play more main story and it will get unlocked at some point. Also there's costume stories. If you have a costume for a character, you get a bonus story for them in here, which is also nice. The reason why I want you to do why I want you to do all of these is because for finishing all of these, at least the first part, you will get a 50 AP pot. So what I'm going to do is, for all these characters, I'm going to beat the first 3 nodes, and then get them to episode level 2. And then get them and beat the next 3 nodes as well. And then I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do the last bit because that takes a while. So I'm going to do all of these 6 quests because that I get 100 AP in general from 2. You get 2 50 AP pots from that. That is a really good way to immediately get a whole bunch of AP pots going. So once I've done all of that, I'll probably have a whole bunch of AP pots lying around. And more importantly, I'll also have increased my rank without actually losing any AP because I'm actually gaining any AP. So that's a really good way of kickstarting a bit of rank while also getting a whole bunch of AP pots just lying around. So that's a really good way of doing that, and these quests are really, really easy. Also gets all your characters to episode level 2, so if you want to increase some magia, that helps there as well. Also, of course, as I said, if you're playing during the anniversary, for just logging in during the anniversary, you get that memory that I showed off earlier that also gives episode points up. And you can put that on your character and make it even faster to get to higher episode points. Nice. So once you've done all of that, now it's time to actually increase the level of your characters. And for this, once again, it comes down to what you're actually focusing on. I'm focusing on Karen and Kako, so you do Fire Labyrinth, and you do the Labyrinth for Forest type. But as you can see on the Japanese version, the labyrinths are a bit differently in that all labyrinths are always open, so on any day of the week, you can always do the labyrinth for whatever element you want. And also, there's this special labyrinth for all. I think this one gives a bunch of money as well as just random drops from every element, which is fine if you don't have a specific element that you want to train, and maybe you want to just do your dailies. This is like the go-to thing. If you want to just do dailies, 10 battles a day, you just do that one. And right now it's actually also really good to play because there's half AP going on, so you can play these for 20 AP. And this is actually absurdly good because doing this, I think, gives like 340 or something rank points. If you look where I am right now, I need 200 rank points to rank up, and you will see that, wait a second, you can rank up ridiculously fast by doing these quests. Yeah, you can. And it's also really good. So after you've done all the Magical Ghost stories, you come in here, and then you just grind out a whole bunch of these, and you're going to shoot up in rank to like, I think I've seen people already being like on like rank 60, 70 or something like that just by doing this. And of course, you get a whole bunch of materials for your characters. You get a whole bunch of level up gems, and then using those level up gems, you can level up your characters. Now, if you're unsure if you can beat these quests, yes, you can. Because like I said, if you just take a level 100 support with you, even with just 1 or 2 Memoria, they'll probably be able to like blindly whack around and just kill everything. It should be really, really easy with a level 100 support to defeat all of this. You can have a level 1 Iroha that dies immediately. It doesn't matter. A level 100 support will finish all of this. Unless you take like a really weak one that is of the wrong element, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, so you can grind that out, and once you've done all of that, you'll be sitting on a really high rank with a whole bunch of AP pots lying around. You can maybe funnel in some more AP pots to get a little bit higher, and then you have so many materials. Let's say you do the fire quest a whole bunch of times, you're going to have materials to level up your current to level 100 immediately. In fact, I already have as much to do that, and then you have so many fire gems lying around. You can put those on other characters as well. Get your Kako up to level 100 with just fire gems. Sure, you'll have enough to do that, and some other characters as well. Your Iroha, you might want to level your Iroha as well, because there are a handful of quests that are solo Iroha required, so you can do that. But yeah, you'll basically be completely done with leveling once you've grinded out this labyrinth. And I would say stop doing this if you notice that you would have to use like multiple AP pots to get to your next rank. That's where you might want to stop. But yeah, once you've done this, you've got so much stuff lying around and you're completely fine. Next up, you just play main story. You just go through main story to unlock, just to get more Magia Stones, to unlock other stuff. For example, by beating Chapter 2, you unlock mirrors, and you might want to unlock mirrors. In fact, you might want to unlock mirrors right away before doing the labyrinth and before doing your Magical Ghost stories. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now, so you probably do that actually next. Because you want to do 1 mirrors battle a day. Even if you lose, just do 1 mirror battle a day just to get daily coins, because just by doing 1 battle you get a daily coin, and daily coins can be used to get a whole bunch of materials. That's really, really important. So if you do 1 mirror battle a day, you get your daily coins. You go over here to the daily coins, and you can buy stuff. Yeah, let's say I want these ones, for example, or let's say that I have Karin. I don't know what Karin takes, but let's say Karin takes this one for or whatever. And you can just get a whole bunch of these from daily coins. Awesome. That's one way of getting materials that you really need. Of course, if there's any other event going, let's say anniversary is over and there's another event, maybe you want to play through that other event and farm at least low difficulty quests and then buy really hard to get materials from there. And that's basically how you get kickstarted on that end. And yeah, after you've done that, just go through the rest of the main story. Unlocks also some Magical Ghost stories for some characters. If you get to a higher level one, like let's say main story chapter 8 or 9, where it might get a little bit difficult, it's fine. You can stop at that point. You can go through Arc 2 quests as well and do a whole bunch of stuff here. That's also totally fine to get even more stuff. And you'll be sitting on a whole bunch of Magia Stones at that point. You get so many Magia Stones from doing all of this. Also from missions, you're going to fill out your stamp cards while you're doing this to get a Muamura at some point, and a whole bunch more rolls. You'll be seeing a lot of rolls. What you might want to ask yourself is, okay, I've got a bunch of rolls. What do I do with my rolls? Kind of depends. It kind of depends. If you think to yourself, I really want to have better Memoria right now, or I want to have some more free-to-play characters right now, you can say, okay, you just roll for Memoria and you roll for free-to-play characters by throwing them into whatever gacha is currently running. And if you get lucky enough, maybe you get the rate-up character. Like maybe you get a Mokyu in here. Like you can say, oh, I really need more characters. Whatever, throw them in here, get a Mokyu potentially, get more free-to-play characters, get more Memoria, and then you're set. And what you need to do at that point, once you're set, is you kind of need to just start saving for multiple months. And it might be a little bit harsh, but if you are a free-to-play, you should be used to just having to save for a whole bunch of time before you can get something good. That's just the way the game goes. But on the other hand, if you've saved for a while and a character comes around that you really want, you have a really good chance of getting them 4-slot, especially because Mitamas coins exist, because every time you roll a gacha in this game, you get Mitamas coins for that specific gacha, not for any other gacha, just for that specific gacha. You get Mitamas coins, they expire afterwards also. For example, I have like 22 Mokyu Mitamas coins, and for 300 of these, you can just buy the rate up character on top of that, which is kind of insane. So after you've rolled 300 times, even if you get spooked 3 times at 300 rolls, which is extremely unlikely, like less than half a percent chance that would even happen, you can still buy at least one. And if you've got lucky enough to get 3 of that character up until now, here's your 4th slot. That's really awesome. You can also buy some other stuff, like the Spirit Enhancement materials, or money. That's, who cares about money? You don't need that. Don't ever buy the money from you. Don't do that. During some events, you might be able to buy some tickets, also not very important at all. The formations are usually terrible. Like almost all the time that there's a formation in this shop, it's goddamn awful. Don't ever pick it up. These are some of the worst formations in the entire game, and you have to spend this premium currency on it, which is kind of ridiculous. Anyway. So yeah, you need to start saving at least 300 rolls before you start going into a gacha. And I think that's a really good number to say, okay, I want to have at least 300 rolls before I actually start to try and get a 4-slot character. But by then, you're going to have so many awesome, really super awesome 4-slot free-to-play characters at level 100 with Spirit Enhancement. They'll dunk on everything, it's going to be fine. And your support's going to be Super Saiyans anyway. So that's basically how you get really good with the gacha later on as well. So, I'm just trying to look very quickly at my list of all the stuff you might need to do. Yeah, I think at this point we're basically done. You just keep going with that. Something to note about the timing right now, as I noticed before, we're really close to monthly reset. So if you want to get, on one hand, the Magia Stones from this, definitely get this immediately. And also, this is going to be extremely difficult, but you have like 24 hours to get all 10 tickets in here. Probably not worth it, probably not worth the effort, to be honest. But we are getting double mirror coins right now. And if you can somehow win against other teams with a fresh team long enough to get mirror coins for this, then sure, go ahead. I probably won't be doing that because it's just a lot of hassle, just a handful of rolls. But in theory, you could do that. Also, you might want to check out this right here. This is Tricolor Raid. It's a formation that's sort of like Tercio for the poor. I say for the poor because it's not as strong as Tercio, but it has a similar idea, where there's 3 buff slots. 1 buff slot buffs fire really hard. 1 buff slot buffs forest really hard, and 1 buffs water really hard. So if you have 3 of these at once on there, they actually get some really good buffs. But the buffs aren't as strong as Tercio, and you need to like have 1 of each of these elements, and 2 of them are actually on a vertical for blast, which is also terrible. But in theory, it's a really good formation for getting good DPS out of your lesser elements, like for the water, fire, and forest. So yeah, that's that. Basically, if you have any other questions, put them down below. And of course, you are always welcome to come to the Discord to ask questions there, ask questions in JP Game General, and probably also in JP Help more specifically. And you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Because of Spirit Enhancement, you're going to be way better. Also, yeah, I should probably take out just a handful of words about Spirit Enhancement. I'm going to make an entire video about Spirit Enhancement, so I don't want to say too much right now, but I'm going to make an entire video about Spirit Enhancement. All I can say right now is don't worry too much about it. Don't stress too much about it. I've mentioned Spirit Enhancement multiple times, but that's something that you do later. Right now, with a fresh account, don't worry about it. For like 1 or 2 weeks, you don't need to worry about it at all. I'm going to make a video about it, and then you can actually start planning. So don't panic. Really, just don't panic right now. Play it nice. And the thing about Spirit Enhancement is that you need to play Spirit Enhancement slow anyway, so just wait for the video. And then you get the more information. So yeah, that's how. Hope you guys enjoyed this. See you on the Discord, see you in the game, and I'll see you guys next time.